All right. So, how to increase online sales with conversational sales?
Yeah.
It's a big topic.
It's a huge topic. It's huge. And something that we actually will share this today. I think is going to be something, an eye-opener for everyone, and also a learning. And it's going to be an ongoing learning also for us. It's something that we continuously do, and we'll be happy here to share with you guys.
All right. So this is the agenda for today.
Yeah, we have an agenda here. We have the current consumer trends. We'll be sharing with you guys today, as well as what is conversational sales. Also, what is the benefits about this, trend that we're seeing it now, and about conversational sales, and also about giving you a bit of experience and also the knowledge that we have within Vodafone, the experience that we have with the sales.
All right. So let's just jump into the current consumer trends. But before we do that, here's the first poll for you guys. I hope you can answer this question for us. Which tools or channels are you currently using to connect with your customers online? So just give me a second. I'm going to launch this poll. Okay, so now you're going to have a couple of seconds to answer the question, please.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty what we actually, ask customers whenever we go there and meet them in person to understand what are their needs, their pains, and where we come in as doctors to pretty much help them. We always ask them what are they using now to connect online. Usually it's forms, click to call, 800 numbers, the traditional way of communicating and connecting with the customers online.
All right, so we've got the results. I'm going to share them with you guys so we can quickly talk about it. So 33% choose form, click to call 50%, 0800 numbers 33%. The biggest amount was chat, and then 50% chatbot. So obviously it was a multiple choice question, so I'm assuming that the majority of our viewers have more than one channel for customers.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. Which takes us to our next slide.
Pretty much with the answers that people have responded and also seeing about more traditional ways of connecting with the customer, we see that having on the website, regular website that everyone has, which a lot of the enterprise companies have invested in the last 10, 15 years, throwing money into this, let's say website brochure that they have. They have fill out a form. And then from the website there, if I fill out the form, they become a lead in the CRM system, which is being sent there. They get nurtured, as you may know, you're from marketing. They get nurtured as then they have a second email attempt or a third email attempt that you have, and then trying to qualify this lead, and then try to schedule a phone call, and then try to communicate, try to speak with this lead, during that time, which we don't know if you're able to communicate. And if you do, it may be too late. Maybe that they already have chosen the competitor, or they had decided not to continue with this process. So.
Yeah, and for me, like all this approach, it's all about later. It's not about now. And in today's world, people expect, immediate responses. Everything is on demand. Everything is now. And all the big companies that we're seeing succeeding are about now.
It's now, and now. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So because of that, we have done a market study in the USA with the telecommunications. So we polled over 300 customers of companies that you see here on screen today, like Apple, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Samsung, Amazon. We did this at the end of last year, I think. So it's pretty recent, the research. And here are some findings that we can share with you today regarding the consumer trends in the telco industry.
And these are pretty interesting findings that we have, and we see this across different markets in different countries. But in the US, we see that 54% of telecom consumers would consider alternative providers if their online customer journey was, difficult or taxing. It's not the best way. Also, 17% of consumers would visit a store only to speak with an advisor. So this is something also a learning for us that, there's a way that it can be developed and help during this process. And then 75% of respondents would be more likely to buy a telecom product if video chat or live chat support were available to resolve queries. So this is something that,
Real time.
Real time. It's about real time, about now. And then you have also 80% of respondents would have improved the customer buying journey if the real time assistants were available. So again, it's about how you're able to interact with that customer in that moment. 77% of customers would like more human interaction on online sales platforms. And this comes to having this trust and transparency, because at the end, humans also like to be speaking with other humans and be able to have this type of way of communicating, understanding what they're getting, what they're purchasing. So it's easier. There's always this fine line of, bottom of these letters that you don't know what you're getting into. So this is something that it helps resolve. The fine print, that's exactly the word. And then 45% of the respondents think real-time assistance is the most important factor when choosing a network provider online. So again, it's all about how can we help in that moment, in that real time when the customer hits on your website. So
exactly. If you guys are interested in reading the whole research, you can go to our website in the resources page. You can find it, download it. We have plenty more resources and more research papers for you, but this is just the relevant one for today.
I recommend it. They've done an awesome job, so yes.
All right, another one. This one is an external source, actually.
Yes, this is actually really cool because this is how I think not only millennials, but I think other than millennials, I'm within the millennial area. I know you are. Yes, I'm there in the borderline. But speed is everything, and 25% of millennials expect to get a response within 10 minutes of reaching out to sales or customer service. This is from PR Newswire. From my personal opinion, I think 10 minutes is even too long. I think it has to be even shorten that. So for me, it's about now. So this is something that, yes, it's all about now.
Okay, we have another poll question here for you guys today. Do you think basic chatbots are better than forms? So this is the question that we're interested in. I will just launch the poll for you now.
That's a good question. There's also something that we also ask. And
so we have yes, no, or I'm not sure. I would like to get the feeling of what you guys think about forms, chatbots, which one you think would perform better or is better. I think it's a relevant kind of a battle, let's say, right now in the e-commerce and online shopping. Kind of we see bots replacing forms and expecting a better performance, but maybe sometimes that's not really the case.
Yeah, I think it also depends on what you're looking for. If it's for support, then, some use cases is really good. If you're looking for sales, then we'll talk about it later.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see the results. I'm going to end the poll now. Okay, I'm going to share it with you just a second. So we have 69% said yes, they think chatbots are better than forms, and 15% no, and 23% I'm not sure. All right, guys, thank you. Let's move on. So let's talk about basic chatbots.
Yeah, so we all know that basic chatbots are limited for online sales, and something that we've seen that is also complex questions are problematic. For standard itemization, responses are too generic. Also redirected to a form or generic FAQ page.
Oh, that's nothing worse than going through the whole chatbot process, trying to speak to someone because you can clearly see that the bot is not answering your question, and then they just send you to the FAQ page that I visited before I even started.
Which is generic response, which is really, it's not the best way to approach, especially if the customer is eager or wants something now. So it's not the best way. And only capable of providing simple answers to simple questions, which is still, you're hitting a wall which you need to bypass this, you need to overcome it, which is a huge problem. And
forms.
Well, these are forms.
Is a strong statement.
Yes, it's forms, but I truly believe in the statement. Forms are dead and they're dying. And there's a lot of reasons behind it. For us, we've seen that there's friction points. You have also consumers expect seamless experience to have this in a shortened time. So everything's about how quickly can you be able to understand and get the information as soon as possible. And as one thing we also mentioned is that they want to be contacted within 10 minutes or even quicker. So by having forms, we have learned as well that, first of all, it converts poor. It's low conversion rate.
I think 2 to 4%.
Yeah, 2 to 4%. In some cases, that's 4% is being high, but 2 to 4%, let's say. UX experience, so user experience is really poor as well. And not to say also mobile. So I think mobile is one of the huge areas which we know that between 75 to 90% of the traffic is mobile, depending on which markets you're looking at. And some markets have 90% of mobile traffic, so you need to have everything on mobile, the best way to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
But also one of the things that we've seen the most, and I think this is one of the biggest headaches that we've seen, other than being static and rusty, is about having slow iterations. So making changes, making in real time. And this is something that we have seen that it takes 2 to 3 weeks of, depending on the brand or the enterprise that we're speaking to, you have to wait for, a sprint to make any changes, any adaptations into whatever, how they're approaching to their customers on the forms. And when they do so, it can, if it's not within the priority, it will go into the next sprint, which is another 2 to 3 weeks. So we're talking about a month minimum, just to make one simple change into either one product form, but you want to have different forms, but you want to approach the different cases by having campaigns or products. So this is a headache, and at the end, you're not agile, which you need to be agile, you need to be now, you need to be changing things currently, and this is cost of money. It's just pain.
I can tell you as a marketer, like, there is nothing more valuable than running an A/B test, and there is nothing more painful than running an A/B test, especially if you depend on developers who work in usually agile methodology. As you said, they work in squads, they work in sprints. So to change anything, I can imagine in big enterprises is even harder.
Yes, and that's the headache, and this is what we always ask all these questions. We always, whenever we're on-site meetings, we discuss this, we share this, we ask them, and that is one of the pain points that they have, which is clear. And I think this leads us to the next slide, which is why those old forms that we're having, those dead forms, how they're going into now to this way of conversation, which is a conversational form of way communicating, which is so much easier to classify the customer than to qualify the customer, and then afterwards to be able to distribute the customers. So it's actually understanding is, are the existing customer yes or no? So that's the classification part. Qualification is about what product they're looking for. And then from there, let's send them off to an expert, to wherever you want to. It's dependent on the business rules, but the end is you can make changes in real time. It's easy, it's agile, it's much easier way to communicate. And you can have A/B tests, as you mentioned before, but you can also have each and tailor-made response or approach depending on the campaign you have, on the product, on devices. So this is the way to go.
Game changing, guys.
Yeah, and it's all about now. So yeah.
Okay, so what is conversational sales?
What is conversational sales? So conversational sales is about able to communicate with customers in real time, be able to communicate, in a fast way, able to also reduce this sales cycle and be able to send this customer to the right person. So not necessarily is about having to make the sale unassisted way, because there could be one way to do it, so unassisted way, but also unassisted. So pretty much understanding what does this customer want, what are they here for, and then from there, what do we do with them?
So here are some benefits of conversational sales. Would you like to go through them for me?
Yeah, so we have here differentiated from the competition. That's one of the things that we've seen. Also avoids friction points such as request forms. So there's also the request is one of the pain points that we have. Delivering a wow moment, so like this, this way of interacting with customers in real time, it's a big difference.
Yeah, we've seen our clients actually, their net promoter score has gone through the roof. Yeah,
we have also some other, like Vodafone Greece has also won an award for a digital store that they created with us, but not only that, but also be able to increase the NPS score, which is really, really good. And also enables engagement with consumer via online tools, which is also the moment. And the results of having this type of conversational sales is about increasing on online conversion rates, is improved customer experience, shorten the sales cycle, and one more thing as well, is it also reducing costs. So that's something else we're going to be talking about, but these are the results that we're able to get to. So enter the digital era with success.
So this is where we asked you in the first question, what kind of tools do you have available on your website? Yeah. We've seen with all our clients that they usually have loads of different communication channels available on their website, which can make like online customer maybe a bit overwhelmed or confused, or they don't know, should I chat, should I call, should I use a form? Yeah. Maybe for different things you need to use a specific channel, and it can be just very confusing and disjointed.
Yeah, and this slide, I love it because here it shows us the traditional way of approach that we see, yet still on many different websites. They have different, channels to be able to communicate. Customers don't know where to go to. There's different teams behind it that they don't want this channel to be used for certain clients that are coming onto the website. So what do? We put all of this in one single platform, and then we let the brand to be able to develop what channel they want to provide the customer, depending on where they're coming from or where they're heading to. So this is where the success comes into on this area. Yeah. So assisted plus unassisted sales. This is something also
very hard to understand. Hybrid conversational sales. Please. Yes. Tell us more.
It's difficult, but once we share it with everyone, it's very easy to understand. I think is one of the coolest things we're doing now is that we know assisted sales is what we've been doing for the past 10 years. Yeah. Assisted sales is about speaking with a one-to-one expert, able to speak with them, able to speak in depth about the product, and able to help them decide on what they actually want to purchase, and then be able to probably even upsell and cross-sell during this communication. But it's about having this interaction with a one-to-one. This is
basically you click the call. I'm calling the agent in the call center.
Yeah. And this is pretty much what we've been seeing. Many of the communication companies do this for so many years. And this is what we've seen that we can help even increase on sales. But the idea is about the hybrid or this unassisted sales or hybrid conversational sales is about being able to also have the unassisted approach. So this unassisted approach is about able to have real conversations and being able to classify this customer, qualify also to understand this customer, what they want to purchase on their own. So driven way to be able to make the sale. And at any given time, if they want to be assisted, we allow them. But the idea is that if you give this path to the customer and you are learning how to be able to develop this unassisted approach, you're going to be reducing costs. And this is where the next slide is going to share with you. And we have seen and we learned that within telecommunications, we've seen that between 95 to 97% of the sales being now with telecommunication is assisted sales. So this is a high number. And this is what it tells us here is that what we can deliver, what we can bring in from the first year you're going with Whisbi, you enter with the Whisbi family, we implement this project, where we're going to head to. So here we have 3 different areas which we divided, which is a hybrid, the unassisted, and the assisted. So in the first year, as you can see, we have the yellow color, which is assisted sales. This is on the first year. So we're already reducing the first year of the assisted sales. At the end of the 4th year, as you see the yellow part reduces, and that automatically reduces costs. So we're doing. But what are we going to do now within this 4 years? And within the first year is about having this unassisted approach to be able to develop this way of communicating how the customer fill out the forms as much as possible. And when they need assistance, we're bringing the hybrid in, assist the conversation, and help already make that closing, but already with the pre-filled out information of the customer. So making it also, again, easy, reduce cost, making sure we're able to grow this area of unassisted and assisted with a hybrid way. So this would.
So I think this is the perfect chance for all the telcos out there who are still, thinking about how do I approach digital transformation. How do I go away from traditional sales channels such as call centers, as we mentioned before? And I've heard a lot of times on sales calls, as soon as we mention a chatbot, people are like, oh, no, I don't want. We are building one internally. We have a chatbot, but this is more than a chatbot, right?
Of course, yeah. The thing is that most of the companies are looking into chatbots, and there is a big, let's say, chatbot is a big word. There's a lot of different areas you can do. Chatbot normally is pretty much based on support. So chatbot is good for support. So for sales, it's what we're focused on. So how are we able to do in this hybrid conversational sales? We use one of the tools as a chatbot to be able to qualify the customer. And this is a perfect moment that you bring this slide in, is about the unassisted part, that what we're doing is, again, we're reducing the cost, and we will help continue reducing the cost with time, but also with the assisted part, as we're already experts in, we're going to help you and also increase on the sales. And this is about combining these two worlds and marrying them together. You increase on these both sides, which is phenomenal. It's and this is where mostly the telecommunication brands, enterprise companies, that their view on as the next 5 to 6 years is how to get first unassisted sales, how to reduce the costs, and we all know it's not from from one day to another. It takes time.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and also some markets are more mature than others. But we're here to help, and we're here to adapt into different markets, different areas, and how we can do so.
All right. Let's talk about our business architecture that we built.
So, as you know, and I'm sure that some of you may know, or the majority may know, that Whisbi's focused on sales, but also we're focused on support to sales. We have also learned by going into or onto the premises of the contact center of the different telecommunication companies in the contact center, understanding how is your sales workflow. So we understand that, if we are able to put this workflow that they have, which is a generic one, which here we can see that's classification, qualification, distribution, up to terms and conditions and payment, up to even analyzing the analytics of the whole customer journey. But if we're able to put all these together into our platform, into the hybrid, first of all, unassisted or hybrid way, and be able to do this on their own, this would be perfect. This is exactly what is in every enterprise needs that they want. And we also have the assisted part, which is the traditional way of just this assisted part, which you're not able to bring this workflow into this area. So this is how we're able to bring this in, and this is how we're able to connect into this unassisted and assisted approach.
Okay, so we have another poll question for you guys, and it is, which of the following is true for your company? So we would like to find out a bit more about our audience today. So this is the third question. I'm going to launch it now. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds so that you can read through the questions and choose which of the following is true for your company. So the first one is unassisted channels, for example, chatbots. Their conversion rate is very low. The second one is call center for direct sales conversion rate is low due to low qualified or support related calls. And the third one is brick and mortar stores have a great customer experience, but low sales as footfall is decreasing year on year. So I would like to find out which one of those is like your biggest pain point, or which one are you most concerned about or focused on? And it's like true for your company.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple of seconds more. All right, thank you. I'll share the results with you now. So the biggest percentage of people, 67, voted for call centers for direct sales conversion rate is low due to low qualified or support calls.
That's really true. Yeah. That's actually, yeah.
It's like the biggest pain point that you find.
There's one, yeah, it's one of the biggest pain points, because it's how to be able to filter these customers that they come into the website and send them to the right teams, and not having these leads be able to speak with a sales agent in the contact center, losing their time and money, so be able to send this lead to the right teams and be more efficient. So yes, it's
and then the other two are kind of similar number of responses, but we can also see that some of our viewers also have this kind of problem.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see how we help.
Yeah, so pretty much here we know that the problems we have is that online sales is not as best, is usually 7 to 10%, or in this case for for regular contact center, but on the unassisted part is 2%. And as we know that it's 2%, 3%, 1%, and the market's even less. And then brick and mortar stores are having not enough traffic. People are not still going into the stores. Depending on some markets is even worse. And where's the solution? So that's when Whisbi comes in. We come in.
So this is like an example of a workflow that we built for a client.
Exactly. So we are seeing that there's an unassisted approach to be able to be online, to be able to help them sell. Well, Whisbi comes in into this classification and qualification of the lead. And then once we classify this customer, they are not able to do the unassisted approach 100%. We send them over to either a contact center or even to a physical store. So we have different approaches of how you're able to connect this lead to an expert that whoever you want as a business rule. But additionally, if you're able to, the idea is that how you're able to have this mix between the contact center and physical stores to be able to have this assisted approach by using agents on the contact center to use our tools, and that's where we have the Whisbi platform come in as a solution. And this pretty much gives you more or less an understanding of how it works. So kind of a diagram that shows you on the web, how it looked like. Also, you see on the side, on the right side, it shows a bit of the mobile experience. But here it gives you an understanding that we're able to connect with CTI or PBX, depending on how big is the company. For telecommunications, usually it's PBX. So what we're able to do is we're able to identify who is this customer. Again, who is this customer? What do they want? If they want support, well, great. We'll send you over to support. If you want to talk, speak to someone in the support team, talk support team, or you want to send over to a different type of approach, is however the company wants. But if they want assistance on selling, and they want to have this approach of the conversational approach with agents, we have these agents using some features.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what is the difference between conversational agents and other agents?
Yeah, so the other agents are agents who have not the tool of Whisbi. Can be support agents, other type of agents that are not for sales. The conversational agents, what they're using these powerful tools that they're able to do. There are features that they're able to do, such as real-time video, to share something live with the customer. It can be in a different area in the store, digital closed store, however they want on the physical product. They can do those with file transfer. One more thing to add on, if I forgot to add, the real-time video is a one-way video. So only the agent, the expert, is able to share this video with the client. The file transfer is a two-way transfer that you're able to send either a PDF form, Excel, picture, whatever you want is a two-way video after a file transfer, and then you have web sharing, this is one of the powerful areas that as an expert, you're able to share the screen of your screen to the customer and help them decide on which bundle package is best for them. So qualifying the customer, saying, okay, so you're traveling more.
It's very visual, right? Yeah,
it's very visual, and then helps them to understand what is the best product for them to do upsell and cross-sell. But additionally, this is a one-way web sharing from the expert to the customer, but also live messaging is the way that you're able to message. For example, your last name is Blagojevic. Yes, how difficult is it to spell Blagojevic is an easy way to spell it on the live messaging. And the other part that we were speaking about, this way of communicating or having this trust and transparency, speaking with a human being, you can actually have this avatar, which you see in this slide. It can be a picture of the actual agent or expert, or it can be a live video of the expert sharing their face. And again, it's a one-way video. So I can be in my house in my pajamas, and you can be in the contact center, and off we go. You help me out with the sale. So yeah, this is pretty much how we do at Whisbi.
All right, so I think this is the moment that everybody has been waiting for.
Yep.
We're going to talk about our case study with Vodafone, and we're going to show you some amazing results that the brand has achieved by implementing conversational sales.
Yep.
So I'm going to explain to you briefly the challenges that the brand saw. So they had a challenge regarding their e-commerce. So because customers no longer want to go into the stores and check out the product, they would rather, research online and do everything they need online and get their questions answered online. Also, there was like a friction between on and offline because, you can browse their website, a Vodafone website, but maybe they don't understand the product, the features, or the bundles. So they would have to complete the purchase in the physical store, which is also not a great experience. Yeah. Then their callback forms failed. So we talked about that earlier. Like forms are all about later. So maybe I'm ready to buy a phone right now and I get a call back in 2 days, it's too late. I already bought it somewhere else.
Yeah.
There was a big delay, customer needed their answers, and by filling out these callback forms, many sales failed. And then the last challenge was very high traffic on their website, but they had very little sales. So the conversion rate wasn't there. They needed to find a solution for that, to improve their conversion rate and increase their online sales. So you want to talk about it to us, the results?
Yeah, the results. So this is one of the great things we're also able to share with you guys. It's something to share from Vodafone Germany. And here we can, comparing two different campaigns. Well, they're similar campaigns, same leads per month, cost per leads, and transformational cost. So we're comparing these both. But as you can see, the first one is without Whisbi, with a 7% conversion rate. Total cost, total CPA, cost per acquisition at 126.29 per sale. But once you add Whisbi in this mix with the same leads per month, same cost per leads, same transformational cost, just add in the Whisbi cost. But the difference here is that we added Whisbi, they had an 18% conversion rate. And then by having this, obviously the CPA, the cost per acquisition, dropped to 58.20 per sale, which is
number of sales also increased.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is where and how we're able to impact on the ROI. This is how we're able to impact as we generate within telecommunications. The conversion rate is high, and this is where it makes a difference between us and the.
So although you have this initial cost of investing into a new technology, you are bringing something else into the mix, and it may seem like, oh, I'm just going to spend more money, but at the end of the day, if you can increase your sales by threefold and your conversion rate by 10%, it's a very good result.
Yeah, it's really a result. Yes.
Okay, let's recap this.
And the recap here we have is 4,000 qualified leads in 1 month throughout the Whisbi platform. And then we've seen from this is that 30% of online sales done through Whisbi was being done with us, which is great. Increase in online sales conversion is 25%. 90% increase in online user engagement, which is also very good. And on top of that, we hit a 20% of sales share increase, which is also big. And something that this shows the impact on how we do. This is one of the business cases, because we have other business cases as well as strong on this area, but this is one of the business cases that we have, which we can share how how powerful is our tool, how impactful it is within the telecommunication industry. And these are numbers that, they're black and white. So,
and I think all of the telecommunication companies would like to increase their share of digital sales. It's usually one of the top priorities when I'm reading the annual reports, the CEO or digital transformation leaders, they're all striving to really increase that online share of sales, mainly because the footfall is dropping in the physical stores. Yeah,
and you mentioned that they would I think they would love to have this something like this number. So I think it's something that is a moment of now in making these numbers. So, and I think this is also one of the cool projects. And I think this is the reason why I love working at Whisbi, is because we have different, we're always breaking these barriers. We're making this push of what we can do next. What else can we push within the industry? And I think this also shows what are we doing now with Vodafone, and also what are we doing with others. But this is with Vodafone now is about the latest project we have with them is connecting to actual physical stores. So why is this also something impactful, and why are we connecting with physical stores? One of the things we know is that physical stores, again, people are not going to the physical stores, right? People are not going to the physical stores. They're going online to check, compare. So when they go, you have these agents that are on these stores not working 100% of the time. They have some downtime. Why not get this expert to be able to connect with these online leads coming in? And also because there are experts on the product, they're, day in, day out, able to communicate, able to touch this device. And this we've seen that Vodafone Germany has increased. They've had a 15% conversion rate by having to connect from an online lead to the physical store. And to make you understand, Vodafone has more or less 30 million web visitors be able to connect it.
And these results are only from 1 month in February this year, and only with 8 agents.
8 agents. Currently now,
they've managed over 2,000 leads. In this period.
And now currently they are with 9 physical stores, 9 or 10, I think it's 9 stores that they're connected now. But this is to give an understanding of how we're able to impact and your existing resources. So it's again about how we're able to adapt into the business model that you have currently. How are you working currently? If you have contact center agents, you have physical stores, and maybe another area which we can discuss on another topic another time is to even connect with home-based agents, but this is a really way of how we're able to adapt within your ecosystem. So.
All right, and here we have a quote from Julia. She's the head of digital assisted sales and online projects at Vodafone. So she was working closely on this project. And she told us that more than 2/3 of Vodafone customers say that with this technology, they stand out from their competitors. So it's very important, especially in a commoditized market like telecommunications, where all of them offer more or less the same product, more or less the same prices. So how do you differentiate? The main point is usually customer experience. To be able to serve interested customer in, I don't know, 10 seconds response time, it's incredible comparing to your competitor where you have to fill in a form and wait. And also she said that Whisbi has positively influenced their online sales, and that they're seeing a higher sales conversion rate compared to traditional phone channel. So again, I guess it goes back to the features for agents, where they're able to show visually.
Yes.
I don't know, share a website, show the product, do a live demo through a live video, use the messaging, use the file sharing, and they're able to close more sales. It's
about giving the agent who is the expert in the front row, in the front area, to be able to utilize these type of features at any given time. So they don't have to use all the features, but they know exactly when to use each feature to be able to close this customer, able to get this approach. And again, it goes about trust and transparency, quick share information now, and be able to close them now. So that's pretty much is it. So.
Okay, guys, over to you now. I'm gonna go and check now all your questions that have been sent through. All right, so here we have a question from Helen. How does conversational sales capture Net Promoter Score?
So this one here is pretty simple. It's because when you're able to ask, you're able to go online and be able to answer it in that moment, to be able to get helped and to either speak with an expert in that moment, the whole customer journey becomes easier. It's quicker. It's on point. There's no need of latency. So it's all about, so all this creates this NPS score to go high. And we've seen this generate this with different type of companies within telecommunication.
What is a good NPS score actually?
NPS score, it depends on the market and on the vertical. Telecommunications is over 30% of NPS score is already considered a very high NPS score. I know that depending on brands, but I think we also know this about one of the brands in the US. Verizon. But yes, 30% or higher.
Okay, so we have another question here from Alex. Amazing webinar, thank you. Will it be available later on in a video format? Yes, so of course we are recording this webinar for you guys. It's going to be available on whisbi.com in our resources page, so you can come back to our website and check it out at any time. Yeah. But also if you have subscribed to the webinar, we're going to be sending out an email with the recording, so you're not going to miss out on it. Then we have another question from Marta. How does a telco typically get started using this technology? Okay, so how do our clients usually start with conversational sales? Because it looks very overwhelming. Yeah. Like there's a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different technologies. Like, how do I do? Where do I start? Well,
it's really basic in the start. So what we do is we never go at full speed. We always go by parts. So you go by phases. So first thing is that we use your existing resources. So what resources do you have? Do you have contact center, which I'm sure you do, but if you don't have enough, you have a physical store, we connect with that. After we reconnect with these.
But the whole call center, I mean, maybe I have 50,
no, it would be just 5 to 10 to start with, and the beginning of agents to be able to connect. We already started having this tree, the conversational tree, to be able to build this, to have this unassisted and assisted approach. And then what we do is that we have by phases, because this is a learning and a commitment from both sides to learn and how to develop this approach, how to map out this tree.
So it's not like a plug and play.
No, it's
like I put it on my website and off it goes.
No. So we first have to do this, and then afterwards we have an on-site implementation and on-site training that we send over to make sure that everything is up and running correctly. We additionally have a customer success manager tied to this project, is assigned to the project to make sure that we're hitting the goals that we're heading to. And then from there, we develop this project within a year. We have these, QBRs to make sure that we're able to ramp up and go in the right path.
Okay, we have another question about Vodafone case study. This is from David. I find it super insightful. Do you have this information available? So yes, all our customer success stories, including Vodafone one, are available in our on our website in the resources page again. So you can just go to www.whisbi.com and you can find it there and download it right now.
Yeah. Also, another question about if we work within North America. Yes, we do. We work with Verizon, with AT&T. We also work within automotive brands as well. And we have a couple also coming up on board very soon. So check us out and we'll surely share with you which of the next companies coming up.
All right. Let's see if we have any more questions.
Okay, great. It's been great. So now,
okay, something else is coming through.
Something else.
Okay, so our customer success approach. Okay, this question is from Sebastian. How can you help us with our digital transformation?
So our customer success is pretty much, they're also experts on how to build this and how to be able to identify how to help you to develop this project, best practices, learnings, benchmarks, to be able to get to this approach of digital transformation, also adapting and understanding what you're currently using and what business rules are you actually tracking. So this is something that we're able to put together and be able to hand, side by side, walk you through with different meetings, bi-weekly meetings, to make sure that we're hitting the right path in the next upcoming months.
All right. Well, this has been great.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting this webinar.
Well, thank you for inviting me over.
Very insightful.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, guys, we're going to be running more or less one webinar per month on different topics regarding conversational marketing, conversational sales. We're going to be covering different topics from our product roadmap to our business cases in different industries, not just telecommunications, which I think is important because digital transformation is a transferable topic, I think, across all industries, especially traditional ones like automotive, telecommunications, banking, insurance, travel as well. So I think it's important that people in transformational positions in this kind of companies take learnings from other industries as well. Yeah, that's correct. So join any webinar, not just the one for your industry. Because join all, because we're all talking about something about now and about now and about now. So yes, we do. But thanks again. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.